Hi, and welcome to our unit on relationships. We are going to focus on healthy and unhealthy relationships and what it means to be in a healthy relationship and what it means to be in an unhealthy relationship. The first thing we're going to focus on is that relationships exist on a spectrum. So at one end, you have healthy relationships. Then you start moving toward the middle to an unhealthy relationship. And all the way at the other end of the spectrum, we have something called an abusive relationship. And a lot of times, relationships start out super healthy and they slowly move toward the other end of the relationship spectrum. So unhealthy things start occurring, and then those things slowly can sometimes lead to abusive relationships. So first, let's take a look at the healthy relationship. A healthy relationship means that you and your partner are both communicating, you're talking openly about problems, listening to each other, and respecting each other's opinions. You are respectful. You're valuing each other. You respect each other's emotional, digital, and sexual boundaries. You trust each other, so you believe what each other has to say. You've proven your trust. You are honest with each other. You treat each other as equals, and you can make decisions together and hold each other to the same standards. And lastly, you enjoy your personal time. Being in a healthy relationship is enjoying spending time apart and respecting that. Once we move to the unhealthy relationship, we are not communicating anymore. So problems are arising, which they will, and instead of communicating them in a calm manner, fights begin, yelling, maybe name calling and things like that are occurring. You become disrespectful, so one or both partners are not considerate of the other's feelings and personal boundaries. You're not trusting, so maybe one partner doesn't believe what the other one says or wants to invade their privacy. They want to grab your phone, they want to look at it and see what's going on. They don't trust who you're talking to or who you're DMing. You're being dishonest, so one or both partners are telling lies. Someone's trying to take control, so one partner feels their desires and choices are more important than the other, and they begin to try and control the situation. And lastly, you're only spending time with your partner, so you and your partner are the only ones that matter. You don't socialize with your friends anymore, and it's all about your partner. Now, if we move toward the other end and the abusive side, so an abusive relationship, we have abusive communication. So we're communicating in a way that is hurtful, threatening, insulting, or demeaning. Disrespect is happening. So the feelings, thoughts, decisions, opinions, or physical safety of the other person is disrespectful. It physically hurts or injures the other partner by hitting, slapping, choking, pushing, or shoving. This is an abusive relationship. Blaming can occur. So he blames the other partner for their harmful actions, makes excuses for abusive actions, and minimizes the abusive behavior. Controlling and isolating the other partner by telling them what to wear, who they can hang out with, where they can go, and what they can do is considered an abusive relationship. And lastly, we have pressures or forces. So any type of pressuring a partner into doing things they don't want to do, threatening them, hurting them, using blackmail. These are all forms of an abusive relationship. Next, we are going to just focus on defining a healthy relationship. So relationships can look different, but healthy relationships have a few things in common. Open communication, mutual respect, and healthy boundaries are all defining factors of a healthy relationship. So communication is a key part of building a healthy relationship. The first step is making sure both partners in a relationship want and expect the same things. So you have to be on the same page in a relationship, and make sure you speak up and talk about things. First, we have speak up. So in a healthy relationship, if something's bothering you, you need to talk about it with your partner instead of holding it in. When you hold it in, it tends to explode into some type of argument. So speak up and talk about what is bothering you, what is going on. We need to respect each other in a healthy relationship. So each partner's wishes and feelings have value. You need to let each other know what's going on and respect how someone else is feeling. Compromise. You must compromise in a healthy relationship. Disagreements are going to happen. They are a natural part of healthy relationships, but it's important to find a way to compromise if you disagree on something. You should try and solve conflicts in a fair and rational way together, instead of it leading to an unhealthy or abusive compromise. You need to be supportive, so offer reassurance and encouragement to each other in a relationship. Partners should each let each other know when they need their support. Healthy relationships are about building each other up, not putting each other down. And lastly, respect each other's privacy. So just because you're in a relationship together doesn't mean you have to share everything and constantly be together. You can keep some things private to yourself, and that comes in with setting boundaries and respecting each other. If one partner doesn't want to share something, the other partner should respect their feelings to be considered a healthy relationship. Next, we have unhealthy relationships. So unhealthy relationships can be physical. So hitting, slapping, choking, kicking, grabbing, pulling hair, pushing, shoving. These are all forms of physical violence that are defining unhealthy relationships and abusive relationships. We have emotional and verbal abuse. So putting you down, embarrassing you in public, threatening you in any way, telling you what to wear, what you can do, what you can't do, threatening suicide, accusing you of cheating. These are all emotional and verbal forms of abuse that are considered unhealthy in a relationship. Sexual pressure, forcing you to do anything you're not comfortable with or you do not consent to, including sexting, restricting access to birth control, unwanted kissing, unwanted touching. These are all forms of unhealthy sexual pressures. Financial concerns can be considered unhealthy. So financial demanding access to your money, preventing you from working because they want to spend time with you, insisting that they pay for you, insisting that you owe them something in return if your partner chooses to pay for you, are all forms of unhealthy relationships. Lastly, digital. Sending digital threats via text, social media, or email. Stalking or embarrassing you on social media. Hacking your social media or email accounts without permission. Forcing you to share your passwords so they can check up on you and see what you're doing from your end. Constantly texting or calling to check up on you. Frequently looking through your phone or monitoring your text and call logs are all forms of unhealthy digital items in a relationship. The digital world is taking over, and it is something to really consider when you are in a relationship. Anything from texting and talking on the phone too often to having someone want to constantly post things on social media or not want to constantly post things on social media. This is all kind of going back to being in a healthy relationship, having these conversations, talking about your expectations, setting your boundaries, and really communicating openly so it doesn't become an unhealthy aspect of your relationship. All right, tomorrow we are going to take what we learned in this little mini lesson and apply it to a handful of scenarios. So I have the scenarios here listed for you. If you would like to take a moment and read through them so you know what to expect tomorrow, you can, but you definitely do not have to. There's 3 different scenarios and questions. You're going to discuss a scenario with a group, and you are going to answer the questions together as a group. So we have a couple of different ones that we're going to work through. And then we are also going to take these different relationship spectrum examples. There's a handful of them here that you can go ahead and read through if you would like to. Tomorrow when you come in, they will be printed out and cut up in strips. And with a group, you will be working through these examples, and there will be a giant relationship spectrum up at the front of the classroom, and you're going to take the strips that are given to you, discuss it with your group, and decide where they fit and where they fall on the relationship spectrum. And we're going to go ahead and place them where we think they go, and look at it as a class and discuss what we have and discuss the examples and where they go and kind of maybe why we think they go there. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our mini lecture here on relationships, and hopefully you are ready for class tomorrow. Any questions you have, please let me know. Go to Google Classroom, shoot me questions, shoot me an email, and let me know if you have any questions.